welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, hello, I hope you stick around. Don't forget to hit subscribe down below, as well as the notification bell so you'll be told when I make a new video. Today, I'm doing the Finally Fall book tag. I was tagged by Andrie over at Andrie Reads like literally a month ago, and I just never got around to filming this video. In my defense, Texas still has not realized that it is fall, and it is still 80 degrees outside. Now, I am getting like a little bit of a chill in the mornings and the evenings. It's like slightly in the mid 70s, which to me, after like literally 90, 100 degree weather, feels absolutely amazing, but I need it to be slightly colder, so maybe by making this video, the universe will get the message and send some colder weather my way. Now, I know in my tags I tend to talk about these same books over and over again, and I'm tired of it, so in this video I really tried to choose books that I've read recently that I might not have talked about a lot, or just books that I read earlier this year that I haven't talked about a lot, so bear with me. There are some newer books in this video. The first prompt is, in the fall, the air is crisp and clear. Name a book with a vivid setting. For this one, I chose Star Daughter. If you've read this, you know what I'm talking about. If you haven't, Star Daughter is a book about a Desi, so like Indian American girl who is half star. Like, she's literally half of a star. Her mother was a star, and she accidentally hurts her dad with her like emerging powers. As she grows older, she starts to manifest more of her star powers, and she accidentally hurts her human dad. And so to heal him, she ends up going to the Celestial Court where her mother lives, where she ran back to. Her mother left when she was young, and she went back to the skies because she's a star and the earth could not hold her. Anyways, she goes to the heavens, and there she tries to, you know, find a way to heal her dad back on earth. And this book is literally set in the sky. It is set in the court of the stars, like celestial court of royal stars and constellations. I mean, what more can I say? The writing in this book is so evocative and illustrative. Like, if you look at this cover, like, this is the type of image that will be playing in your mind, like, while you're reading this book. Apparently some people can't see images in their mind's eye, and I did not know that was a thing, so if you can, you will see images and they will be beautiful. Speaking of beautiful, the next prompt is, nature is beautiful, but also dying. Name a book that is beautifully written, but also deals with a heavy topic like loss or grief. For this one, I chose A Place for Us, which I read back earlier this year for the Asian Readathon. I talked about it like a lot for a couple of videos, and then I just stopped mentioning it. I don't know why, but here's an excuse to talk about this book because it made me sob like a baby, and it was written so well. I cannot believe this was a debut. Like, this is her first novel, and I was like, how? This book is so beautifully written and so challenging. Like, it's written in a non-chronological format, jumping back and it's not jumpy at all, which is wild because like it seems like because there's so many different times chronologically, there's so much going on, and it jumps back and forth between so many different locations and times and stories of this family who is like growing and changing over time. It's just like, it should be jumpy, but it's not. It's very flowy and very like melodious almost. Like, I don't know, it's just written so well, and it made me cry so much and feel so much for all of the characters, and it deals with a lot of like family struggles, growing, losing people you love, things not going as planned, like so much, and it is so good. I highly recommend this. I'm not gonna give like too much on it, but basically there is this family, this Indian Muslim family, and the family has kind of become estranged. Like, the son has left, and everyone kind of comes back together for the eldest daughter's wedding. And by comes back together, at the start of the book, they have all come back into one location for this wedding. But the story is mostly told through flashbacks and like jumping back and forth between the wedding and so many other things that have happened in the past, and the way the whole thing just weaves together at the end is like, I like literally don't have words for it. So yes, this book was amazing. Prompt 3 is, fall is back to school season, share a nonfiction book that taught you something new. For this one, I've talked about this once or twice, but The Making of Asian America, I had to read this for school last semester, and wow, the Asian American history I literally never learned in school is in this book. There's so much, and it's like written very well. It reads very easily. There's a lot of references that you can go look up. I took a lot of notes in this book. Like, I annotated this book before I annotated books, and like, these are all just chapter titles, not annotations, but I have a lot of annotations in this book because things made me very emotional in this book, very angry. I was yelling at people who are dead when I was reading this book. I was like, how dare you? How dare you do this? Like, you hear a lot about racism in America, but as an Asian American, you tend to internalize that racism and believe that nothing is wrong and that you have made it and that you're fine. And then you read something like this and you realize how much has actually happened in the past and like how much is continuing to happen, and that even things such as the model minority stereotype are actually harmful. And some of you might be like, how is it bad to be seen as successful? I'm not going to get into it in this video, but it is harmful, and there's a lot of literature and research on it, and I recommend that you look into it if that's something you're confused about, because it is definitely harmful to have other people set the agenda for your successes and your failures and say that this entire group is successful and put you on a pedestal that is unreasonable and unrealistic as compared to other groups who are also struggling. And it's all just a big mess. But anyways, this book like is a crash course in Asian American history pretty much, and it is absolutely amazing. Like, I don't think I quite finished it because we stopped at one of the last few chapters, I think, but I think I have like 1 or 2 chapters left, so I'm probably gonna go back and finish it at some point in the future, but highly recommend this as a good educational book on Asian American history if that's something you're interested in. Question 4 is not this book. That's not going to be the answer to this prompt. I will tell you later. Okay, question 4 is, in order to keep warm, it's good to spend some time with the people we love. Name a fictional family, household, friend group that you'd like to be a part of. I think for this, there's a lot of them, but I think I had to end up going with the Heroes of Olympus, or just Percy Jackson people in general, because like there's so many books you just like grow up alongside them, and I love that series so much, and I like just reread it, so I'm like filled with love for this series and the characters. I love them so much. Prompt 5 is, the colorful leaves are piling up on the ground. Show us a pile of fall colored spines. Here are my fall / Halloween shelves. I've got my red and black books, and then I got my like orangish books and my mug, and then some like more neutral colored books and my pumpkins. Okay. This is why I screamed earlier when I was trying to do prompt 4. Question number 6 is, fall is the perfect time for some storytelling by the fireside. Share a book wherein somebody is telling a story, and for that I chose The 7 Husbands of Evelyn Hugo, which is not a heartwarming story. This book made me sob. I was not expecting to cry this much reading this book. I literally have been putting off reading this book for so long because it just didn't seem interesting to me. I was like, I don't really care about Hollywood. I don't care about this woman who is like talking about her 7 husbands. Like, I knew it had LGBT rep, but I didn't realize what it was, and I'm not gonna say anything because I feel like that's a mild spoiler. So it has LGBT rep, but moving on. This book like tore my heart out, and I didn't consent to this. I was sitting in bed bawling. Like, why did I agree to read this book? Why did I think that this would be like a boring book? This is one of the best books I've read all year in my entire, like, one of the best books I've ever read. And I don't even remember what the prompt was. What am I talking about? Okay, story. She's telling a story. Okay. Evelyn Hugo is this like famous Hollywood actress who in her later years has decided to finally talk about her life to the press. But everybody thinks she's just doing a little interview for like a dress auction, and she ends up choosing this small-ish reporter from this publication. Her name is Monique, and everyone's like, why did she choose this random reporter from who knows where to, you know, do this interview for the first time in like 50 years? She's doing an interview, wow, and she chooses this random girl, and everybody's like confused. And Monique is very confused. She's like, why did she choose me? But hell, I'm not gonna give up this opportunity, so she goes. And whew, I'm out of breath thinking about this book. It was so much. Okay, anyways, so basically this entire book is told through Evelyn telling Monique a story of her life that is so many twists and turns that were unexpected. Wow, okay. But anyways, this whole book is basically Evelyn Hugo telling her life story to Monique, and it's told somewhat through her like actually being in the room telling the story to Monique, but also a lot of it is just like directly from Evelyn's perspective, I guess, like in the past. So I would consider it a story, and it's just so good. Oh my gosh. Prompt number 7 is, the nights are getting darker. Share a dark, creepy read. I have not read very many dark, creepy reads. If I'm being completely honest, like this month is my first time actually willingly seeking out dark, creepy reads. And so before this, I read House of Salt and Sorrows, which was a dark and creepy read that I didn't expect because I picked it up thinking it was just another typical fantasy following that like naming format of blank and blank, and so I started reading it, and it actually ended up being like kind of a horror book that was set off of the story of the 12 Dancing Princesses, but like different, and it was so good up until the very end because I didn't very much enjoy the reveal that happened at the end. Leading up to it, it was like very creepy ghost story, haunted house, dying princesses type, like something's going on, and then in the end it was like bam, supernatural things that are not related to the other supernatural things, and I'm just like, where did all of this come from? None of it was built up. Anyways, I gave it 4 stars just because the entirety of the book up until that point was really good. I also just recently read Mexican Gothic, which I'm not even gonna bother getting off the shelf because I didn't like it. Everybody loved it, and I buddy read this with Lisa, and we didn't really love it, so I'm not gonna speak for her, but I didn't enjoy this. I didn't enjoy it at all. It was 200 pages of absolutely nothing in this dark, creepy house that I expected a lot more from than what I got in the last 50 pages. I don't know. I just didn't like this book. End of story. But it was supposed to be a dark, creepy read. Question 8 is the days are getting colder. Name a short, heartwarming read that could warm up somebody's cold and rainy day. My default for this would have been Let It Snow by John Green, but as I said, I'm trying to recommend some newer books that are also fitting these prompts. So aside from Let It Snow by John Green, I chose Darius the Great Is Not Okay because I loved this book. It also made me cry. I have a lot of crying books this year, but like it made me cry in a good way. It was just, I have so many annotations in this book because Darius is just such a lovable character, and the other characters in this are also pretty lovable, and despite all the problems that he has in this book, like, it's just so good. Darius the Great Is Not Okay follows Darius, who ends up traveling to Iran to visit his dying grandfather, and this is his first time going to Iran, and he's half Persian, half white, and so he deals with a lot of identity issues, and going there is like this eye-opening experience for him because he sees a lot of things that he hasn't experienced before, and that things he has experienced, and he doesn't feel Persian enough, he doesn't feel white enough, and it's just like a lot of stuff, and it's very much like a coming of age, kind of finding yourself type story, and I very much enjoyed this. I absolutely loved it. I gave it 5 out of 5 stars, so heartwarming read. Definitely pick it up. It's also not super long. It's like less than 300, it's like 300 pages almost exactly, but it's like not that many words on a page, so it's pretty fast. Question 9 is fall returns every year. Name an old favorite that you'd like to return to soon. This year I've already read most of my old favorites, to be honest. Like I started the year reading The Infernal Devices again in preparation for Chain of Gold, and then I read Percy Jackson and the Heroes of Olympus series this year, and I read The Hunger Games before Ballad of Songbirds and Snakes, so to be honest, I've read most of my old favorites again, but I did read a book earlier this year that I'm already ready to reread, and that is Cersei by Madeline Miller. I'm not even gonna say anything about this book. It's just so beautiful, and I am obsessed with Greek mythology retellings at this point, and I cannot wait to reread this book because I know I'm gonna love it so much again, and it's just so pretty and I love it so much. Also Lore Olympus, I'm constantly just like rereading Lore Olympus, which is probably not good for my mental health, but I am doing that, so I guess both of those. Also, I think I'd like to go back to, I know this isn't what the question is asking, it's asking about specific books, but I'm gonna say that I do want to go back to dystopians because I used to absolutely love dystopians, and recently I just haven't been reading them because like we're literally living in a dystopian, but I just bought the Darkest Minds series and I think that's a dystopian, so I'm very excited to start reading that, so dystopians, I guess. 10 is fall is the perfect time for cozy reading nights. Share your favorite cozy reading accessories. Fuzzy socks, candles. I have like a literal candle shelf. It's very messy right now, please excuse me. But I have like a lot of candles, especially like the winter, fall scented candles like gingerbread, pumpkin, all of those. This fuzzy blanket, which is like a queen-sized throw. I love it so much. Hot chocolate or any hot drink, warm drink. Cold face, warm drink. That's it. Nothing else. Mugs, obviously, to drink this warm drink in. Good bookmarks, which I need to get more of. But anyways, this isn't an accessory, but cold weather. I need cold weather. I need to be cold so that I can have warm accessories. That is, I need to burrow into things. And 11, spread the autumn appreciation and tag some people. I tag everyone watching this video. If you want to do this tag and bring some fall spirit into your life, then pick some books, grab a coffee, hot chocolate, what am I saying? do this video if you want to do this video. That's what I'm trying to say. Anyways, if you enjoyed this video, please give it a thumbs up. Let me know down below if you've read any of these books or if you plan on reading any of these books. And as always, don't forget to subscribe so you can be told when I make a new video. Thank you guys for watching. Bye-bye.